It's official. Zoe Saldana should just get typecast as someone with different colored skin. Eventually, she'll be every color of the rainbow. Just saying. Guardians of the Galaxy is the fourth standalone Marvel movie of Phase 2, leading up to the Avengers Age of Ultron. Finally. It's about Star-Lord, who's played by Chris Pratt. He comes across this artifact that a lot of people want, then he comes across a group of misfits. They want the artifact, one thing leads to another, and then they form a group called the Guardians of the Galaxy. And now we have our movie. A really fun movie. Seriously, this movie is if Star Wars and Star Trek had a baby, the baby would turn out to be Guardians of the Galaxy. This movie has a lot going for it. First of all, the cast of this movie is amazing. Chris Pratt as Star-Lord is the one they concentrate the most on. By the end of the movie, you'll know his story and you'll realize it was the absolute right call to cast Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. Because this role was definitely made for him. Zoe Saldana plays Gamora, and her backstory was pretty interesting too, and she really kicked ass in this movie. After seeing Zoe Saldana in this movie, I am definitely convinced that she's the modern-day female action star. And she can pull off any color. Again, just saying. My least favorite, Drax. I'm not saying Drax is a cool character, I'm just saying out of all the characters, he's the one you'll be talking the least about. And it's not to discredit the character, it's the actor that plays him, Dave Bautista. He's not quite the strongest actor. The character's motivation is that he's on a revenge path to kill the man who murdered his family. He says it, but you don't feel it as much as you think you should. Aside from all that, Dave Bautista did really play this role good, and he did have some funny moments in it. My two favorite characters in the entire movie, it's all leading up to this, and this whole movie would have failed if these two characters did not work out. Rocket and Groot. Rocket was really the first character I knew of from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Up until a couple of years ago, I had no idea who Rocket Raccoon is until they made him a playable character on Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I played as him a couple of times and I didn't know who he is, but he kicked ass in the game though. I just assumed that he was just one of those characters that are deep in the Marvel universe that no one really cares about. Rocket was the funniest character in the entire movie and he stole every scene he was in. He's voiced by Bradley Cooper, to which at first I was like, is that really gonna work? But seeing the movie, he's really unrecognizable when he's voicing Rocket Raccoon. Bradley Cooper really changed his voice to become Rocket. Groot is a walking, talking tree. I am Groot. Groot is to Rocket Raccoon to what Chewbacca was to Han Solo. I'm not going to spoil much about Groot, but after you see this movie, you'll walk out a big fan of Groot. Other than Drax, another character I felt was a downside to this movie was the villain Ronan. Now don't get it twisted, I liked him as a villain and he was really functional. I'm just saying if I were to compare him to another Marvel villain, I would compare him to Malekith from Thor the Dark World. However, I do feel that he was a slightly better villain than Malekith, but he is like Malekith. Malekith and Ronan, they're just one of those villains that are number two to an even bigger villain like Loki or Thanos. Otherwise, Ronan, cool villain, and his right-hand man or girl, Nebula, she was cool too and I want to see more from her. What I like about this movie is it's so different from all the other Marvel movies. And that is one of the strong points about this movie. They open up more about the cosmic universe of the Marvel Universe, which the Thor movies tried to do, but not like this movie did. And there are so many Easter eggs and small callbacks to other Marvel movies that it shows how it's connected to those movies. Another strong point that this movie had is the fact that Star-Lord is a child of the 80s, and all he knows is all the music that came out before the 80s. And he carries his little Walkman cassette player, he's jamming out to music from the 80s and 70s. I like that because it gave the movie personality in this already absurd universe. I have an oldies playlist on my phone, and after I walked out of the movie, I got in my car, I was like, dude, where are the 70s tracks at? One last thing I liked was the balance between all the drama and the humor. Like, you'll be in one scene where you're laughing your ass off, and then the next thing you know, there'll be a real serious scene, but at the same time, they never lose that humorous aspect of the movie, which was good consistency. In the end, I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. Out of the Phase 2 Marvel movies, this comes a close second to Captain America the Winter Soldier. Cap 2 and Guardians might intertwine with each other, but those are my top two favorite Phase 2 Marvel movies. If I were to rate them, here's what I would rate them. At the bottom, Iron Man 3. Over that, Thor the Dark World. And then the top two, Cap 2 or Guardians. But as far as Guardians go, I will give Guardians of the Galaxy an A+ for full price. And be sure to stay after the credits. There's 2 of them. Come on now, y'all know the deal with these Marvel movies. That's it for the day. You like what you see, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other channel. The links are in the description below. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, and check out my website. Peace.